Hi everyone! So I'm going to be trying something new in the realm of reading, kind of going out of my comfort zone, and I thought I would just bring you all along with me. So I have never before read any manga. I've also not watched any anime. It's just not something that I've ever done. Not that I have anything against it, because I haven't even tried it. And it hasn't happened. And so I have heard a lot of other booktube channels that are reviewing manga, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. Maybe I want to try it out. The thing that's kind of, I think, kept me from getting into manga is that sometimes a series can go really long. Like some of these manga have so many volumes in them and so many issues and then off spurts and everything. And so that's part of what has kept me away. But then there are some that have a little more finite set of like a smaller running series. But, you know, even if it's a long one, I want to at least try some of these ones that I have seen, and they seem interesting. And they have been promoted by people that I like other things they read, like we have similar reading tastes, so I should at least give it a try. So that's what I did. I have gotten 6 first volumes of different manga from the library. I'm going to try them out and let you know how I feel. Most of these came as recommendations from 2 different booktubers. I've seen them on different people's channels, but I basically went back to like 2 different booktubers that I watch pretty often to get like the names to get. So the first one, I've seen this on a lot of people's channels, but the first 3 came from Murphy Napier, was the person who I have seen review these. So I'll link her channel down below. And the first one is Death Note. And this one I think is actually a pretty shorter series, so not as intimidating to get started on this one. I don't really know much about the plots of any of these, so I'm not gonna go into the plots now. I'll talk about it more once I've read the volume. So this is the first one. And then she is really into this next one. She loves One Piece. She talks about it all the time on her channel now, and she has like reviews of each, like, I don't know if it's each arc or if it's certain volumes. I didn't really look into it much since I hadn't read any of it yet, but if I start this and I want to keep going, she has a lot of commentary on that on her channel. I also think it's fun that when I was getting these out from the library, the librarian, when I came in, she's like, ooh, who's starting to read manga? Is that you or the kids? Because the librarians know me. And I said I was going to give them a try. And she's like, oh, well, just so you know, I wrote some notes in a couple of them because I guess these were like some of her favorite manga series. So that's kind of fun that my librarian is writing little notes inside my books for me. And then the last one that I got recommended from Murphy was Fullmetal Alchemist, which I have heard about this one from a couple people's channels as well. And so those were all from Murphy Napier. And then the other person that I watched that reads a lot of manga and talks about it is Kate File. I'll also link her down below. And she recently did a video where she tried a bunch of new manga. Like she has ones that she's read in the past, but she wanted to start some new series. So she tried like several different first volumes and then picked which one she wanted to continue. And she just did that video a couple weeks ago, and that's what inspired me to do this, because I was like, a lot of these that she's reading are sounding really interesting to me, and so maybe I should try some manga. Of course, she was just trying new series. She's already been a manga fan, and so I was like, well, I'm going to try them for the first time. So I have 3 that came from her video. Like I said, I don't know anything about these, but they sounded interesting when she talked about them. First up, I have Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. And this is another one that my librarian was like, I really like that one. It's a lot of fun. And then I have Spy Family. This one sounded like it would just be a good time. And then I have The Promised Neverland, which I believe has something to do with Peter Pan, but it isn't a direct retelling. And so those are the 6 manga that I am going to be giving a try. I'll read the first volume in each one and then kind of let you know my thoughts and feelings. Since I've never read a manga before, I don't really know how to rate them exactly. Like, I don't know what to expect. And especially since these are not like full stories, they're like, you know, 1 volume of a much longer arc. I don't know that I'm going to give it a 1 to 5 rating. I think I'm just going to tell you my feelings, my thoughts, if I want to continue reading on to the next one. Okay, so I did read my first volume of manga ever. I started with this one because out of the ones I picked, this is the one that I kind of felt that I wasn't for sure about that I would like. I mean, obviously I'm not sure about any of them, but probably the one that I was least interested in. This one I just picked up because when I saw it on Kate File's channel, I just thought it seemed funny. And first of all, let me just say, I am that nerd who looked up how to read manga, because since I'd never done it before, I wanted to make sure I was going the right direction. I just typed into YouTube how to read manga, and there were some great tutorials. And so yes, I was able to figure out which direction to go in the panels and all that. So like I said, I picked up Toilet Bound Hanako-kun because it was the one I had the least expectations for. And my thoughts, this was cute. Like, the story was cute, but I wasn't really feeling invested at all, and just wasn't like loving it or even like really like fully enjoying it. So I don't think I'll be continuing. In case you want to see kind of the art style, I'll show you at the very beginning, so you can kind of see our main character here. A little bit of the art style. That's just the first page, so no spoilers. And this is about this girl, well, it's a school that they're talking about how there's 7 mysteries at the school, and one of them is that there is a spirit in one of the bathrooms that grants wishes. So that girl that I showed you in the panel, she goes to this bathroom in order to ask a wish, and she's expecting it to be a girl spirit or ghost, and it turns out to be a boy. And just the shenanigans and things that ensue after she makes her wish, and what happens as a result, because obviously there's always something that you have to give in exchange for your wish. So that's where this goes. And like I said, it was cute, but there were times when I was getting kind of lost, not in the like storyline, I was able to follow a storyline, but anytime there was any kind of like battle or a little fight scene, I would get really lost in the artwork. And I don't know if that is just manga in general, if I'm going to have a hard time with this as a medium when it comes to like fight scenes, action scenes, or if that was the specific artist. So I'm interested to read some of the other ones that would have action scenes and just see if that's just something that's just not going to work for me, if I'm going to get confused, or if it's just this particular one. So that's why, it being the first one, it's hard to tell, but that was like a fun concept, but not something I want to read for like volumes and volumes. I'm perfectly satisfied having read this one. I mean, obviously it doesn't end at all. It does have like a cliffhanger ending, and will move, you know, moves it on to the next one, which I'm kind of guessing what happened in a lot of these because there's so many volumes in them, but I have like no desire to continue. But for my first one, I didn't hate it. I had an okay time with it. I enjoyed the first half of the story, but then I would say I was getting tired of it after that. So it was okay for one volume for me. So on to something else. Like I said, this was my lowest expectation, so I'm hoping it'll just get better from here. Hey, so I just finished Fullmetal Alchemist, and this is a different edition. I guess that the original first volume only has 4 chapters, and this is the Fullmetal edition, which has 6. So it's a little longer than like the normal first volume, but I read the whole thing, and I really love this. Yeah, I can see why this is a really popular manga series. I was like super into this the whole time. So what is this story about? This is following 2 brothers, Edward and Alphonse, also known as Ed and Al, and they are alchemists. And before we even like start the story, they go through this alchemical process that turns out badly, and they are left with Alphonse. Al is only a soul in a suit of armor, so his body's completely gone, and Ed now has a metal arm and leg, so he lost his arm and leg. And so then we're following them as they're going on a hunt for something that will make it so that they can get their original bodies back. And throughout that, they, you know, each chapter in this has like a new like little adventure and things that happen on their way in their ultimate quest. So it seems like that the whole arc will be them looking for a way to return to their original bodies, but that they're gonna encounter all these things along the way. And yeah, I loved the characters of Ed and Al. I felt like you could really get to know them in this volume, and I liked a lot of the side characters that were coming in. There's like a lot of bad guys that they're fighting, and I did not have a problem following this one. Like, you know how I said in the first one that I read that I had some trouble following it in the like action scenes, and this one has a ton of fighting action scenes, and I didn't have any trouble following it. So I just wonder if that was the artwork in that one that I was just not able to really distinguish. But this one was so good. I just really enjoyed it. I really liked the characters and the plot, and it's fast paced and enjoyable. So definitely going to be continuing this one. Like, this makes me feel good because I was a little worried after the last one because I didn't really like it that much, but love this one. So let's see what happens next. I finished my next volume. I read Death Note Volume 1. This is the Black Edition, so it has 2 volumes, so I just read the first one. And this is a super popular manga. I've heard about it on a lot of people's channels. So you probably already know what it's about, but in case you don't, this is about a death god who has a book that basically when you write a human's name in it, that human dies, they drop it down into the human world, and this teenage boy picks it up and starts using it, and kind of all of the ramifications that come from that. And I thought this was really interesting. It definitely is, at least this first volume, is less action and more like thinking, and like it has that whole discussion, the philosophical discussion on is it justified to kill people who have done horrible things. It is kind of more like a vigilante kind of discussion, or righteous justice. And so this one has a lot more just discussions, like the death god and the boy Light have a lot of just like talking discussions about that topic. And then we see that kind of discussed throughout the volume through the police investigation and all that. And so I found that really interesting. Like I said, there's not much action in this first one, so I wasn't like completely absorbed, but I was finding it interesting to read it. I also like the artwork. I thought because there's so much just more philosophy and thought process and, you know, all that, there was a lot of focus on the facial expressions, especially of Light, and like kind of really focusing in on him and how he looks throughout the process as he's going and killing more people through this Death Note. And so I found that really interesting. So yeah, I overall really like this and would like to continue and see where it goes, because, you know, obviously since I think there's like 12 volumes of this, is that right? Not, you know, we haven't gotten to very far in this first volume, so I kind of want to see where this goes and see what happens to Light, because in this point we start like kind of a cat and mouse chase between him, you know, committing these murders through the Death Note, and then we have like this kind of mysterious person who is trying to find Light and, you know, expose him as the murderer. And yeah, so I found this really interesting. So far this is going really well. You know, the first one I read, the one I had lowest expectations for, wasn't a hit, but the last two I've enjoyed, and I do want to continue them. So far I'm enjoying this experiment. All right, so I finished my next volume. I just like got out of the shower, so still have wet hair, but my kids are doing a craft, so figured this is the time to get a little time to talk. And I finished the first volume of One Piece. So One Piece is probably one of the most well-known, popular manga, because it's been one of the longest running ones. So a lot of people know about this. It's like 1,000 episodes and still going. So it's very popular. And if you don't know, this is about a boy named Luffy. Is that how you say his name? And he really wants to be a pirate. He wants to be the king of all pirates, and he wants to go off and find this treasure that's really famous called One Piece. And so this first volume is him just kind of like us getting introduced to him, finding out what his dream is, and him going off to start gathering a crew to make that dream a reality of being a pirate. And so yes, that is what this first volume is. Definitely set up, since like I said, it's over 1,000 episodes, and this is what, 8 episodes. So like just starting to set up and introduce some characters. And yeah, I didn't talk about my feelings first. I talked about what it was about first, because I'm like hesitant to talk about my feelings, because I know this is such a popular manga. So if anybody's watching this and is a huge fan, yeah, this just was not for me. I did not enjoy this. It actually took me the longest of any of them to read, because I just could not get the motivation to pick it up. Like every time I would pick it up, I would read like an episode or half of an episode and like a chapter or whatever you call them, and like just be done and not want to like keep reading, and I would put it down, and then I have to like make myself pick it back up, because I told myself for this project that I had to finish a volume of each of these so that I could give it a fair chance and not just give it like 10 pages. So I made myself read this whole thing, but I did not enjoy it. I know this is just the beginning, and a lot of people that are fans are going to say that it takes a little while to get going because it has like a lot of arcs and, you know, is long going, so it's probably like amazing like later on. But I'm just not one of those people that can be like, I'm going to read 10 books before it gets good. You know, I'm just not that kind of person that can do that. So I am not going to be continuing this. Part of it is that I just really do not like the art style. It's just not my style. That doesn't mean it's bad. I just think everybody has different tastes, and the art style was not appealing to me at all. I felt it was very crowded, and sometimes, like, you know how when I talked about the first one, I said I got lost in the action scenes? Same way with this one. I had to like go back and kind of like re-look at and reread panels on a page to like see if I was missing something, because I just didn't really follow along with a lot of the action and fighting scenes. I also just didn't really like the whole pirate thing. Pirates are just not my thing. Going on sea voyages, it's not something that I enjoy reading about. But I did want to give it a try since it is one of the most like popular, well-known mangas. I was like, I've given it a shot, and I just don't see myself wanting to continue this, especially it being so long. If I'm not like enjoying this at all and not interested in the art style, I can't imagine going for so long when I'm not even like pulled in by the art. So this is not something that I will be continuing. So I still have 2 more volumes of manga to try, and I will let you know when I finish another. All right, y'all, I just finished my next volume. I read The Promised Neverland, Volume 1, and it's pretty late, but I could not put this down. So I had to finish it, had to tell you about it. So this is, I don't want to say a lot about this one because I think that what you get from the cover, and I'm trying to think if it even says it on the back. Yeah, even from the back, like this has a lot of surprises in it. So from the cover, I kind of thought this would be more cutesy, and I did hear that it had some fantasy kind of elements and some twists, but I didn't know what I was in for, and I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to spoil anything if you don't know. But yeah, it's not as all cutesy and fun as it is in the cover. There's definitely some dark things that happen in this, some twists and turns and fun stuff, and I just flew through it. I couldn't stop. Like, this is the fastest one of the 5 I've read so far. This one I read the fastest. I like literally just could not stop. I just kept going and finished it almost in one sitting. And I mean, other than like when I had to put it down when my kids were like calling me. But yeah, this was so good. I need to like have the second one now. Like, it's definitely very propulsive. So yeah, obviously I love this one and we'll be continuing. And I realized that I still haven't told you what this is about. Like I said, I'm not gonna tell you a lot, but basic going in, what's on the back is that we are following these kids that live in this orphanage, and we're mainly following the 3 older ones, Emma, Norman, and Ray, who are all 11. And, you know, at the beginning, we're just kind of following their lives at the orphanage and what they do every day, and, you know, all the kids that are there and their relationship, and or their relationship with mom, who they call mom, the woman who like runs the orphanage. But is there something darker going on at the orphanage than it just being a home for kids before they get, you know, adopted or go into foster care? So that's all I'm gonna say about the plot. But yeah, like I said, read this super fast, really loved it, really need to read the next one because it's just, you know, I mean, I'm sure all mangas kind of like end on a cliffhanger, like they're pushing you to the next one and all that. But this one, like, I just feel like I have to know what happens next. So definitely going to be continuing on this one and really enjoyed it. It might be like, I don't know if I want to say my favorite of the 5 so far. We'll wait until the last one to kind of like rank and see which ones I will be continuing, and, you know, soon or later or whatever. So that's it for tonight. I just have one more, and then I'll come to you with kind of my overall thoughts and my rankings and how I felt about everything in general. All right, so I finished my last volume of manga, and this was Spy Family. And this one is about a man who is this spy who specializes in disguises, and he's given a new mission where he has to like infiltrate this elite private academy, and in order to do that he needs to have a family, because he needs to have a child that is accepted into this academy so that he can get closer to the other parents there. And so he needs a child and he needs a wife. And so this is just the story of him trying to find a, you know, build a family that, like a fake family that can help him to accomplish this mission. And this was just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. So even from the very first chapter, I was like hooked in and knew I would keep going, because I really liked the combination of the like, there was humor. Like I laughed out loud several times during this, which is not common for me. I didn't do it in any of the other volumes, but there were some parts in here, especially related to parenting, that just really made me laugh. And then there's also action scenes, and then there's also some like, you know, touching moments, and yeah, just a lot of combination of different things, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the character of like the man and the woman who becomes like his wife and his child, and then he also has like a friend slash like, you know, assistant kind of person that's kind of a fun character as well. So yeah, I just enjoyed everything about this one, and so I definitely want to continue. I don't think it's a finished series, and I don't know if all of the ones that are out, I think it's a continuing series, and I don't know if all of them are out in English yet. So this might not be like one that I will prioritize right now, since it might be a little while till I can read them all. So yeah, but I'm excited about how this experiment turned out. It turned out way better than I was expecting. Yeah, I just did not expect that out of the like 6 different series I tried, that I want to continue 4 of the 6. Like, that is way higher than my expectations were of this. Sorry, my cat is really wanting attention. Yeah, so I'm just going to go through them in kind of like the order from the one I liked the least to the one I liked the best, and kind of tell you my plans on continuing them and all that. And I also want to show you a little artwork from each one, because I thought I started doing that at the beginning, but then I stopped. So I'm just going to show you something from the first couple of pages so you get an idea of the art style, but not any spoilers involved. So the one that I enjoyed the least was One Piece, which I know it's a really popular one, but yeah, it just wasn't for me. The art style wasn't for me either. Let me see if I can kind of show you the artwork. Yeah, the artwork wasn't my style. The topic of piracy and all that just wasn't for me, so I won't be continuing this series. And then next is Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, and this one also just wasn't really like my style of humor, and I wasn't as invested in this, and it just kind of, just like One Piece, it took me a while to actually read it, and so I wasn't really absorbed or interested all that much. Man, kitty cat, can you just calm down a minute? I'm trying to find a non-spoilery kind of page to show you. So this artwork also felt a little crowded to me and a little less detailed. So like I said, I kept getting lost in the action scenes for both of these. So they just wasn't my style. And then now the rest of these are all ones that I do want to continue. I just probably won't continue all of them right away. I might, you know, pick one to continue and then the other ones. So next one is Death Note. I really enjoyed this one, but not like, I would say the next 3 are like my top ones. This one is not really necessarily a high priority to finish right away, but I did find it to be an interesting story. And since there's only, I think there's only 12 volumes of this in total, so it doesn't feel intimidating. So I'll definitely continue, and I'll probably read the other half of this combination, you know, because this has 1 and 2 in it. I'll probably read volume 2, but then we'll wait to get the other volumes until I finish some of the other series. But yeah, I did really enjoy this one. I liked the detail of the art in there, and just kind of the like moral conversation that was being had. And then I would say on these top 3, they were pretty close in the fact that I really want to continue all of these soon. But if I have to put them in order, I would put Spy Family next. And for this one, I did really enjoy the artwork. I thought that the action scenes were really easy to follow along with, and I just thought that the like little girl was so adorable. So like I said, I might just wait a little bit to continue this one, since it is an ongoing series. I don't have to like rush to try to finish it. So these next 2 are ones that I've already ordered the next volumes from the library, so I'm definitely interested in continuing them right away. And next one would be The Promised Neverland. I'm going to try to find you some art that's not spoilery. I really liked the art in this one. I'm trying to figure, like, each time it introduced a new main character, they get like a whole like highlight. And yeah, I really enjoyed the art of the kids, and I liked the twist this story took. It just was so absorbing. I was like in it the whole time. So definitely want to continue this one. I have already ordered the next one from the library, and this one has quite a few volumes. I think it's like 20, so it'll take me a little bit to get to them, but if they're so quick like this was a one day, one sit kind of read, I'll probably, you know, move through this one pretty quickly once I can get them from my library. And then my favorite of all these, I think, is Fullmetal Alchemist, at least in terms of the first volume. We'll see as we get farther in the series. I just really loved the character work in this one. I think this one had the most like focus on character work, and I really liked the artwork as well, and just enjoyed the story and the action and everything that was happening in it, but the characters, the action being balanced. So this was my favorite one. I have ordered the next few from my library, but that I have 2 different libraries, like 2 different counties, and this one I can get the next ones right away. But this one, the county that I have to get this one from, they have a pause on their orders, like interlibrary loans, because when it comes to something like this, I wouldn't have it in my local library. I would have to get it from a different library in that network, and they right now are not letting you order things because they're switching the company that they use to like deliver the books. So I don't think I'll be able to get a hold of this for like another month because of they're in the middle of that switch. But once they do the switch, then I'll be able to get the next few volumes of this. So judging from that, the availability based on the library, this is the one I'm going to be continuing right away. And then yeah, but all 4 of these I definitely want to keep going. I will say that just in case, before anybody that is a manga fan says anything, I know that all of these are all from the same like genre / demographic of manga. They're all shonen, and I purposely did that. I know that there's a whole realm of manga that's also like things that are more contemporary or more slice of life or more romance based, but in general, when it comes to my taste in other like styles of like regular novels, I tend to like, I like all those genres, but I find that when I'm trying new art, like new authors and things like that, that I often will like fantasy or speculative fiction or action things. I have more leniency towards those than something like a contemporary slice of life. Like I have to really, really like the characters to like those kind of books. And so I just didn't want to like ruin my opinion of manga by starting with a genre that I have a less likelihood to like. So I wanted to only pick things that were kind of like of an action fantasy style, and it turned out really well because I liked 4 of these. So if you have other ones in this style, I can't really handle anything that's like too violent, because I know that there are some like horror mangas that I have heard of, really famous ones, but I just don't think I could do anything too graphic. Like even Promised Neverland had some things that kind of spooked me out a little bit, but not too much that I can't keep going. But I wouldn't want like a full-on like Junji Ito who does like horror manga. I can't do that. But if you have like some also that are like slice of life or romantic ones that you think I might like, I might try them, but I'll be a little more hesitant just because it's not necessarily a genre that I like in general. I have ordered a couple, like I've looked at some recommendation videos and I have ordered a couple, so those will show up in future videos when I try them. I'm probably not going to do a whole video trying that genre of manga, but you'll see in the future what I end up picking up and giving a try. But if you have recommendations for me based off which one of these I liked, go ahead and leave them down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.